Alex looks at himself in the mirror, coffee mug in hand. He mutters, "I'll just go with the flow and see what happens." But that's exactly why he feels stuck. He knows he needs a change, so he decides to meet his friend Sam for coffee and practice.
So Alex texts Sam, "Hey, wanna grab coffee tomorrow?" Sam replies quickly, "Sure, sounds good." Alex feels a bit better, but he's still anxious. The mirror and empty mug remind him of his goal. He's relying on the flow again, but maybe this time it'll be different.
But when Alex meets Sam at the coffee shop, the same thing happens. Sam talks about his weekend, and Alex can only nod and smile. He has nothing to add because he didn't prepare. The conversation feels one-sided, and Alex feels frustrated and embarrassed. He realizes his current approach isn't working.
Alex leaves the coffee shop feeling disappointed. He knows he needs a different strategy. Writing down topics failed before. He decides to try something new. But what? He's heard about setting a daily intention. Maybe that's the key. He goes home and looks at his mirror, wondering if there's a better way.
Sam says, "My weekend was amazing. I went hiking and saw a beautiful lake." And Alex? He just nods and says, "Oh, that's nice." Nothing more. He doesn't know what to say. The risky line, "go with the flow," is playing in his head again.
Alex thinks, "I should say something about my weekend," but nothing comes to mind. He smiles awkwardly. This is the moment of frustration. Alex realizes he needs a better method. He promises himself to prepare next time.
But writing down topics didn't work last time. Alex remembers the sticky note he left at home. He feels the same old pattern. He's caught in a cycle: go with the flow, feel bad, try something, forget it, repeat. He needs a habit that sticks.
Alex nods, but his mind is elsewhere. He's thinking about his English. The conversation fades. Alex leaves the coffee shop with a heavy heart. He knows he has to change. He's ready to listen to a new idea.
Back at home, Alex stands in front of the mirror. He picks up his coffee mug, now empty again. He remembers the podcast about daily intentions. I and Leo had said, "Today I want to listen more than I talk." Maybe that's the answer. He decides to try it tomorrow.
The next morning, Alex fills his coffee mug and looks in the mirror. He takes a deep breath and says, "Today I want to listen more than I talk." He feels a sense of focus. He puts a sticky note beside the mirror with that phrase.
Alex sits down across from Sam at the coffee shop. Sam immediately starts talking about his weekend. He went hiking in the mountains and the view was incredible. Alex tries to think of a good response, but his mind feels empty. He wants to ask a question, but doesn't know what to say.
Alex nods and smiles. He wants to share his own weekend, but his mind goes blank. He just says, "That sounds nice." He feels the conversation slipping away, and the silence grows longer. Sam looks at him expectantly, waiting for more. Alex feels a knot in his stomach.
Sam continues, talking about the trail and the weather. Alex takes a sip of his coffee, buying time. He remembers he wanted to ask a question, but what was it? His mind goes blank because he didn't set a clear intention. The pressure to contribute makes him freeze, and the silence stretches.
Finally, Alex blurts out, "Was it crowded?" Sam looks surprised, then says, "Not really, it was pretty quiet." The conversation stalls. The question is too generic, it doesn't invite a story. Sam's answer is short, and Alex has no follow-up.
Alex stares at his coffee mug, wishing he had brought the sticky note. He thinks, "I should have prepared something, but I left it home." That's the problem with external reminders, they fail when forgotten. He feels frustrated, and worse, he feels his confidence slipping. He knows he needs a habit that travels with him.
Sam notices Alex isn't really listening. He asks if he's okay. Alex forces a smile and says he's just tired. That safe answer kills the conversation. They drift into small talk about the weather, surface level and safe, but it doesn't build a real connection. Alex leaves knowing he missed an opportunity to be fully present.
He blurts out, "I should get going, have a lot to do." Sam nods, looking confused by the sudden end. Alex feels embarrassed and frustrated as he walks away, knowing he missed a chance to practice.
On the way home, Alex replays the conversation in his head. He knows he could have done better. He recalls the podcast about setting a daily intention. Maybe a simple phrase like, "Today I want to listen more than I talk," could help. He feels a spark of hope and decides to try it tomorrow.
But this time, instead of frustration, the intention comes back to him. "Today I want to listen more than I talk." It's not just a phrase now, it's a tool he can actually use. The podcast tip becomes real in his hands.
He takes a deep breath and says it aloud to the mirror. "Today I want to listen more than I talk." He feels a small shift. He knows he'll try it tomorrow.
The next morning, Alex meets Sam at the coffee shop. Sam starts talking about his weekend hiking trip. Alex nods, holding his coffee mug, but he has nothing to add. He realizes he's falling into the same old pattern: no structure, no intention. The silence grows, and Alex feels the old frustration creeping back in.
Sam describes the trail, the views, and how he twisted his ankle. Alex smiles and says, "That sounds nice," but inside he feels blank. He thinks of his own hike last month but can't find the words to join in. That's the classic go with the flow trap: you listen but don't engage.
Alex remembers his morning intention: "Today I want to listen more than I talk." But here's the problem: he's listening so hard that he forgets to ask questions. He's just nodding. That's a common mistake. We think listening means staying quiet, but real listening involves showing you're engaged. Alex could have said, "What was the best part?" but he stays silent.
Sam finishes talking and looks at Alex, expecting a response. Alex's mind races. He thinks of his sticky note at home, but it's not here. He says, "That's cool," and sips his coffee.
Alex tries to think of a question, but all he can manage is, "Oh, yeah?" He realizes his list of topics is useless because he left it at home. Without it, he goes back to silence, and the conversation drifts away from him. This is where most of us get stuck.
He remembers practicing in front of the mirror with his intention, feeling ready. But here, the mug is empty, and so is his mind. The sticky note is forgotten on his mirror at home. Without a clear goal, he defaults to nodding along. It's the classic gap between practice and real life.
Alex realizes he's fallen back into his old pattern. The intention he set feels useless now. Frustration grows. But this is actually a key moment. He's learning that intentions need repetition. Listen to how his frustration sounds: "I wanted to listen more, but I just nodded along." Notice the connected speech in wanted to. It sounds like one. That's a common pattern for past tense intentions.
He feels embarrassed. Sam is talking, but Alex is barely present. He thinks about the podcast advice: maybe he needs more than a phrase, a real plan. Alex remembers Maya said, "Start small, then adjust." He wonders, should he pick a different intention tomorrow? Or stick with listen more? This doubt is normal. The key is to try again. Notice how start small then adjust links together: start small then adjust. That's connected speech.
Alex decides to cut the coffee short. He apologizes, saying he has to go. Sam looks confused but nods okay. His intention didn't stick when it mattered. That can happen when the habit isn't automatic yet. He knows he needs to make it part of his daily routine, not just a thought.
Walking home, Alex feels the weight of another failed conversation. He realizes just setting an intention isn't enough. He must find a way to make it stick. Maybe the podcast has more answers, like how to practice with a mirror or use a sticky note. He remembers Maya saying, "Small daily intentions shape big habits." That gives him hope.
Back at home, Alex pulls out a sticky note from his drawer. He writes down a few topics: movies, weekend plans, a funny story about his cat. He decides to memorize them before his next coffee with Sam. He feels hopeful this time.
He sticks the note right on the mirror where he shaves every morning. Each day, he reads the topics aloud while brushing his teeth. He imagines Sam's reactions. He repeats each topic several times. The habit feels strong and reliable.
But Alex worries, what if he forgets the note? He decides to take a photo of it on his phone. That way, he can check it right before meeting Sam. He snaps a picture and saves it to his favorites.
He reads the topics aloud: movies, new releases, weekend, hike, funny, cat. He nods confidently, feeling ready. He imagines Sam's responses and smiles, thinking, this time I'll be prepared. He even practiced a question: what was your weekend like? But we know that heads up only works if you remember it. That's why he needed a more portable strategy.
He repeats the topics aloud while looking in the mirror. Movies, weekend, funny story. He changes his tone to sound interested. He wants to be ready for anything Sam might say. He practices each topic with a different facial expression.
On his way to the coffee shop, Alex pulls out his phone. He checks the photo of the sticky note. The topics are still there. He feels a little more calm. I've got this, he whispers to himself. He puts the phone away and takes a deep breath.
But as he walks in, he sees Sam already seated. Alex sits down. The words vanish from his mind. He can't recall a single one. His heart races. He tries to remember the photo on his phone, but his hands are shaking.
Alex's mind goes completely blank. He can't recall any of the topics. He falls back on his old habit. So, how are you? He says weakly. The conversation starts flat and forced. Sam seems disappointed. Alex feels the familiar frustration building.
Alex realizes he left the sticky note at home. He tries to remember the topics but fails. Sam is talking about his weekend, and Alex just nods. He feels the familiar frustration rise again. He wishes he had the note. Maybe the intention method was better.
He wants to bring up a topic but nothing comes. He goes with the flow again, just like before. The conversation limps along. Alex leaves feeling disappointed and back to square one. He knows the sticky note alone wasn't enough. He needs a different approach.
Alex decides to write down talking points on a sticky note. He sticks it on his mirror, thinking this will help. But in his rush to leave, he forgets the note at home. He arrives at the coffee shop empty-handed.
He falls back on his old habit, he says, so, how are you, and nods along. The conversation feels flat and forced. He can't remember any of the topics he planned.
Sam is talking about his weekend, but Alex just nods and smiles. He feels the conversation slipping away. He tries to think of a topic, but nothing comes. The silence grows awkward. Alex feels frustrated again.
Alex leaves the coffee shop disappointed. He realizes the sticky note method didn't work because he forgot it. He feels back to square one. The frustration from before returns. He knows he needs a different approach.
Back home, Alex looks at his mirror. The sticky note is still there, unused. He picks up his empty coffee mug. He remembers our podcast episode about daily intentions. He thinks, maybe I need to prepare my mind, not just a note.
Alex hears my voice in his head saying, set a daily intention, a simple phrase to focus your mind. He considers it. He thinks, what do I want to focus on today? He decides to try the simplest one: today I want to listen more than I talk.
Alex repeats the phrase softly, today I want to listen more than I talk. He feels a sense of calm. He doesn't need a sticky note this time. The intention is in his mind. He writes it on a new sticky note anyway and places it on the mirror.
Now Alex has a new tool. He stands in front of the mirror, coffee mug in hand, and says the intention aloud. Today I want to listen more than I talk. He feels ready. The next day, he meets Sam again for coffee.
Sam starts talking about his weekend trip. Alex remembers his intention, to listen more. He doesn't interrupt. He waits for a pause and then asks, "What was the best part of your weekend?" Sam's face lights up. The conversation flows naturally.
Alex feels relieved and happy. He didn't need a list of topics. He just had one clear intention. He realizes that this simple morning habit changes everything. At home, he looks at the sticky note on the mirror and smiles. The routine is working.
So Alex hears our podcast for the first time. We explain that a daily intention is a simple phrase you say to yourself each morning. It focuses your mind before any conversation. Alex likes the idea.
Alex thinks, "I want to try that." He takes his coffee mug, fills it, and heads to the mirror. He repeats the phrase, "Today I want to listen more than I talk." He feels determined. He knows this simple practice can change his conversations. He commits to doing it every morning.
Now Alex stands before the mirror, coffee mug warm in his hands. He takes a slow breath. The room is quiet. He focuses on his reflection and speaks clearly. This is his moment to set the tone for the day. Today I want to listen more than I talk.
He decides to use the phrase he learned, "Today I want to listen more than I talk." He says it with intention. He feels the words resonate. It's a simple choice, but it sets the tone for his entire day. Today I want to listen more than I talk.
He repeats the phrase slowly, making sure each word is clear. Today I want to listen more than I talk. He nods, satisfied with the sound. The repetition locks the intention into his mind. Today I want to listen more than I talk.
He takes a sip of coffee to relax his throat, then says it again, more confidently. Today I want to listen more than I talk. The action feels natural now. He's building muscle memory for his voice. Today I want to listen more than I talk.
He holds the mug, feels its weight, and lets the intention sink in. Today I want to listen more than I talk. The words become his focus for the day. This simple act centers him. Today I want to listen more than I talk.
Alex notices his heartbeat calm. The mirror doesn't feel awkward anymore. He's building a habit. Small daily intentions shape big communication habits.
He remembers the first time he tried this. Now it's comfortable. The evidence is clear, repetition builds confidence. Alex is proud of his progress. Today I want to listen more than I talk.
With the intention set, Alex puts down the mug and smiles. He's ready for his next conversation, whatever it may bring. The mirror routine has become his morning anchor. I'm going to practice asking.
Sam starts talking about his weekend. He takes a moment and asks, "What was the best part of your weekend?" What was the best part of your weekend?
And that choice matters. By asking about the best part, Alex shows he's really listening. He's not just nodding. Now repeat after me, what was the best part of your weekend? What was the best part of your weekend?
That's a great choice. It's open and warm. Alex chose to focus on the positive. Now you say it with intention. What was the best part of your weekend? What was the best part of your weekend?
Alex asks the question. He keeps eye contact. Sam's face lights up. He starts telling Alex about the amazing view. Now you repeat the line. What was the best part of your weekend? What was the best part of your weekend?
Sam responds enthusiastically. He goes into detail. The conversation flows naturally. That's the power of a good question. What was the best part of your weekend? What was the best part of your weekend?
Alex feels relieved. His intention worked. He's not just nodding anymore. He's actively listening. Repeat the question again. What was the best part of your weekend? What was the best part of your weekend?
The conversation continues smoothly. Sam talks for 10 minutes. Alex just listens and smiles. This is the result of a simple intention. Now one more time, what was the best part of your weekend? What was the best part of your weekend?
But not every intention works perfectly. Alex tries a new one. I'm going to practice asking one good question. He picks a topic Sam doesn't care about, the weather. Sam just shrugs. Listen to the intention. I'm going to practice asking one good question. Now you repeat it. I'm going to practice asking one good question.
Alex's question about the weather feels flat. Sam just says, "It's fine," and looks at his phone. Alex realizes he picked the wrong topic. The intention was good, but the execution missed. Say the intention again. I'm going to practice asking one good question. I'm going to practice asking one good question.
Alex sees the conversation stall. He makes a mental note, ask about what Sam cares about. He decides on a new intention for tomorrow. My goal today is to understand before being understood. Listen and repeat. My goal today is to understand before being understood. My goal today is to understand before being understood.
Alex chooses a new intention for today. I'm going to practice asking one good question. He scans his memory for a topic Sam might like. I used to go with the flow, but now I set an intention.
He picks the weather, a safe, boring topic. So, how about that weather, he asks. Sam just shrugs. Every morning, I look in the mirror and say my goal.
Sam says, "It's fine," and glances at his phone. The conversation stalls. Alex realizes his mistake. Small daily intentions shape big communication habits.
Alex thinks, I had a good intention, but I missed the context. He understands that asking a good question means knowing what the other person cares about. Today I want to listen more than I talk.
He makes a mental note, always lead with what matters to Sam. The intention is solid, but the delivery needs adjustment. I'm going to practice asking.
He remembers the professional intention from the mirror. My goal today is to understand before being understood. That might work better. My goal is to understand.
This experience shows that a generic intention isn't enough. You have to match it to the person and moment. Listen more than I talk.
Alex leaves the coffee shop feeling wiser. He knows the intention works, he just needs to choose the right one for each conversation. Ask one good question.
Back home, Alex stands in front of the mirror. He removes the old sticky note and writes a new one. My goal today is to understand before being understood. Understand before being understood.
He holds his coffee mug, looks in the mirror, and says it aloud. My goal today is to understand before being understood. He feels ready. Today I want to listen more than I talk.
Alex tries a different intention. I'm going to practice asking one good question. But he picks a topic Sam doesn't care about, and the conversation stalls. Alex realizes context matters. I'm going to practice asking one good question.
Alex learns a valuable lesson. His intention must match the person and situation. A good question only works if it's relevant to them. So he knows he needs to be more thoughtful. I'm going to practice asking one good question.
He sees the old sticky note and remembers the earlier failure. He thinks about a more reliable approach. My goal today is to understand before being understood.
He considers the professional phrase, my goal today is to understand before being understood. He feels this intention will work better in important conversations and help him listen. My goal today is to understand before being understood.
He carefully removes the old sticky note and writes the new phrase on a fresh one. He sticks it on the mirror, committing to use it. My goal today is to understand before being understood.
He takes a deep breath, looks at the new note, and says the phrase aloud. His voice is steady. He's ready to test it in a real conversation. My goal today is to understand before being understood.
Now Alex has a clear, empathetic intention. He's no longer just going with the flow. He has a purpose for his next conversation. He feels more in control. My goal today is to understand before being understood.
At work the next day, a colleague starts expressing frustration about a project. He takes a breath and prepares to respond. My goal today is to understand before being understood.
Alex says, I want to understand your perspective before sharing mine. He uses the exact phrase from his mirror note, the intention he practiced this morning. My goal today is to understand before being understood.
He feels heard. The tension in the room decreases, and the conversation becomes productive. Alex's intention works. He is relieved and proud. My goal today is to understand before being understood.
Alex's colleague really felt heard. The tension dissolved, and they had a productive discussion. Alex's morning intention had paid off. He was proud of himself. Today I want to listen more than I talk.
He looked at the mirror and saw the sticky note. He smiled and decided it was time to remove it.
Alex made a big choice. He carefully peeled off the sticky note. He no longer needed it. The habit was becoming natural. He felt ready to move on.
He removed the note from the mirror, leaving it clean. Then he poured himself a fresh cup of coffee.
The mirror was now clean, with no note. The coffee mug was full, then empty. Alex had completed his routine.
He didn't need the sticky note anymore. The habit was inside him. Every morning, he would still look in the mirror and say his intention.
So let's look back at Alex's journey. He started feeling frustrated in conversations. Then he discovered the power of a daily intention. He practiced in front of the mirror. He said, "Today I want to listen more than I talk." That simple change made a huge difference.
The key was consistency. Alex set an intention every morning. He used phrases like, "I'm going to practice asking one good question," and "My goal is to understand before being understood." These small daily intentions shaped his communication habits. Now he feels more in control and confident in any conversation.
Now it's your turn. Try this practice for 1 week. Every morning, stand in front of a mirror, hold a coffee mug if you like, and say one intention aloud. Start with, "Today I want to listen more than I talk." See how it changes your conversations.
The lesson is clear: small daily intentions shape big communication habits. Whether you choose "Today I want to listen more than I talk" or "I'm going to practice asking one good question," the key is consistency. So start tomorrow morning, look in the mirror, say your intention aloud, and watch your conversations improve. Share your favorite phrase in the comments.